So what would a sustainable consumption system be like? So, and I've made this first point here, the standard anti-consumption critique needs to take into account the importance of consumption in our culture. We also need to analyze the class meetings. I don't have time for that, but I think we need a slow consumption movement. Something, we don't necessarily call it that, but something equivalent to what we've had for a slow food movement and alternative food. Number one, we need a rapid expansion. It's already happening, but we need to do as much as we can to expand the secondary markets of consumption. One of the consequences of the fast fashion model is that we've got tons and tons of goods that people have low value for the people who own them. And so the more we can do to grow and facilitate secondary expansion, the better. And this will speak to, Tim's been talking about novelty and the possibility, I don't know, that people are hardwired for novelty. Well, it's new to you. And that's one of the catchphrases that's coming about. But it's really important to rejig the relative positions of new goods and used goods in the market, because used goods exist in a much lower and demeaned relationship to new goods than they will need to get to the sustainable consumption system. Number two, durability is a well-known point. Extended product responsibility, economies of repair and restoration. I'm not novel on that. Adaptability, flexibility, and modularity, very, very important. My favorite example is the sari, back to apparel. It is a clothing, it's a garment that is infinitely expandable, flexible, etc. We need to avoid mass luxury. So I think one of the key problems has been taking goods which are luxurious in nature and have historically been luxuries and mass marketing them. And so that's something we really need to avoid. Shrimp, leather, cashmere, silk, a whole range of them. They're important in the ecological impacts of consumption. I would say that the recession has dealt a powerful blow to the debt-fueled work and spend model. And we can go into this more in the question period. It's certainly in the United States, it's clear in the survey data. I think that doesn't mean people aren't going to consume again, but particularly to debt finance consumption, we are going to see less of it, and I think it's an important opening for us. And finally, we need to, when we think about sustainability, and this goes back to the stuff for those of you who were there talking about on Wednesday at the Suzuki Foundation about my new book, Plenitude, which is much more about an integrated model of production and consumption. And I think one of the key things about achieving sustainable consumption is we really need to think about reintegrating production and consumption for large numbers of people and over a range of important goods and services. So, I was talking there about food and energy, small-scale manufacturing, and I'm talking too fast. But I think that's really key, because part of how we got to an unsustainable consumption system is through that pulling apart of production and consumption to such an extreme that we've had. And the more we start to have people back to a more integrated model, I think the better we'll get.